my name is Jeff Hayes, and we've got another video. AARP, Director of Payroll. Marcelino, whatever. Well, we're talking about today because, just like the Bible says, when you take gossip, somebody else's sin or lie into your mouth and you repeat it, then you make that sin yours. Well, this is what a lot of people are doing, and they may realize it and they may not realize it, and that's neither my care or concern. I'm just letting them know that this is it. And it's just doing my job. Doesn't excuse the sins you commit. This right here is also stated in the Bible. The Lord will not let you supersede your neighbor if you sin against him or her. Stealing is basically taking without somebody's permission or taking against their not wanting you to take it, regardless. Now, if they actually owe it or something and they sign and agree to it, then that's another thing. But if they're taking it, then that's stealing. Now, here's a Department of Labor exemptions letter. This is part of that AARP program. I'm part of a training program. It's for senior citizens, even though I'm not a senior citizen, that I don't consider myself. I'm 60 and currently being blacklisted in Durant, Oklahoma, because I tend to speak up for, what's right and wrong, and I don't sell out my integrity for any price, and I don't sin against my fellow man. So that makes me very unlikely to be employed in a lot of places here. But I'm employable in other places. I just don't have the funds to move at the moment. Now here's a letter. If you'll read it carefully, you can always rewind it and do it. Now, here's the AARP non-employee but training letter. Now, this states that I'm not an employee. The money that I receive is a training initiative that the federal government, through a grant that AARP receives. See, it says enrollees are not employees, but yet they're deducting from this federal grant that was set up for people 55 years older, and plus I'm a veteran, which helps me on that. But I don't see how this should apply to me. See, here's, I guess, a relative of the payroll person, comrade or whatever his name is, but it's still sinning. Now here's the director of payroll. Now, whether he wants to believe it or not, when you go, and I haven't found a court in Oklahoma yet that's really honorable. I've only met one judge out of all of them that I'd consider possibly honorable. Now, this makes him a sinner, whether he went along with it or not, but he's going along with this, and it may be corporate saying that yes, you got to go along with this, but that through whatever makes you a sinner, because you are doing something against your neighbor that you know is wrong. Stealing is wrong. And I've sent these people my divorce papers and other documentation. And if you want to see the other documentation and other stuff, just look up the other videos that'll be posted at the end. Now here's how they try to cover it up. They're saying, because I get compensated minimum wage, which is $7.25, but look, in the red is what I'm actually making per hour, $3.85, after the sinners have stole money. And he's participating in this stealing, so that makes him a sinner, because he's going along with it. You'll see how they're stealing is fucking $154, and you divide that by how many hours, and that'll give you your hourly wage. I was making $3.85 an hour here instead of $7.25. Another $154.11. Unauthorized deductions are any deductions that are made after you're hired or actually enroll in something. Now, FICA and all that, I agree to that because that's beneficial. The rest of this that came after I was enrolled in this thing was not beneficial, and it's stealing. Now I'm averaging about $3 an hour. 32 hours and only $96. This is stealing. And I'm not going to go into a whole bunch other. I've got other videos that go into more of this directly. And they're listed at the end, so you can check those out. And now I'm making $2.89 an hour. And it's still stealing. Regardless how you want to look at it, the Bible says it's stealing. And a lot of people will say, well, God's law says that you follow man's law, but read further, it says only follow man's laws that up until the point they take you away from the Lord and his teachings and his laws. It says to ignore those that take you away from that, from him and his laws and his teachings, like the Ten Commandments. Because man's laws tend to be that on the greedy side and worship the almighty dollar. And if you watch a lot of these videos here, Oklahoma and a lot of agencies in Oklahoma are just bent on greed. They have nothing to do with what's right and wrong. It's just greed. And when women's rights achieved through the abortion rights, that's a good series. I suggest everybody should read some of that. Oklahoma's acknowledged guilt. CSE, Bryan County, that's good there. They show fraud on I actually show fraud on a paperwork there that they were sending to the company. And Oklahoma was rated 11th and most. That's got some where it talks about judges that accept bribes in Oklahoma, past and present. It's an ongoing thing. Sinners and criminals in Bryan County. That's it. Well, I hope you guys have a good day, and I hope this has been helpful. And keep the faith.